Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning is crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Hi. That's it. What's going on? Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lion Villain Report. And we are here. We are talking training camp, and we are broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions Villain Squad Facebook page, where we have over 52,000 villains. Yes, I don't know if they're all coming on here watching us, but we are Lions fans on here. We're in the Detroit Lions News Podcast with Joe Chapp and the boys right there talking Lions news and whatnot. And then we are in the NFL Huddle, the Huddle Sports on Roku. Thank you very much. And I am joined, as always, by Main Event Mike. What are you doing? What's going on?
Good morning, villains. I'm down in Allen Park delivering super glue to Emmanuel Mosley for his pectoral muscle.
That's awesome. Maybe not awesome. But yeah, that's the big news out of Allen Park right now. And I'm just like, I'm a little shaken already with what we got going on in the comments. It's very, very disappointing to me that the first comment on here comes from Bear Fan Broski. Bear Fan Broski, I am very, very disappointed that you're out here and you just couldn't wait to get in here and celebrate our injury. And this is not what we're all about right here. I'm not on here. I don't celebrate injuries of the Chicago Bears. I'm not out here talking about your offensive line injuries and the problems that you have over there. And I'm not over here celebrating the fact that you're going to be struggling to find an offensive lineman and you're going to be going through something right here. And that the fact that those are human beings that got injured, and these are people, their livelihoods are at stake right here. And you're out celebrating in here. We're pumping up Mosley. We're pumping up our players just like every other team in the NFL that has players. And here's the thing that, you're saying you told us so. You told us about Emmanuel Mosley. You said that he was going to be injured. Well, there's another injury that we have with Kevin Zeitler is out with a shoulder injury. And guess what? Kevin Zeitler hasn't missed a game in like 500 years. And he got injured too. So just because a person has gotten injured before, it doesn't make it that they're going to get injured. And just because they've never been injured before doesn't mean that they can't get injured. So if you're out in rival fans' inboxes celebrating this injury, broski, I'm very, very disappointed in you. And I hope that nobody else does this when it comes through here. But let's talk about this injury, Mike. What is the impact of this Emmanuel Mosley injury? How do you see this playing out?
Well, we made the NFC title game last year without him, and we've upgraded at every position in the secondary. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but this doesn't derail our season or derail our team. Not like the Minnesota Vikings, who Mekhi Blackton with an injury to the secondary there after they had their first draft pick, one of their draft picks, Kyrie Jackson, pass away in an auto accident. And and I don't really fault Broski Bear for coming in. I don't think he was coming in maliciously. He was just following up with a conversation he had yesterday, and yep, there you see, I told you so. So I think he's within his right to go ahead and come on this show and take it with a little bit of class. So no hard feelings there for me. I think that this is not going to derail our season. It's so unfortunate for the man, though, and for Emmanuel Mosley to work so hard to come back. I just finished watching Dan Campbell's press conference this morning, though the video and audio, if you watched it, was a disaster coming out of New York today. So it was really hard to follow in between. But Dan Campbell specifically said his gut tells him that, first of all, Dan Campbell said there's two ways this can go. You either fight and get back up and keep coming, or you fold and you just say, I've had enough. And he said his gut tells him that Emmanuel Mosley is going to fight, and he might be available for the back end of the season. So, yeah, very unfortunate for Emmanuel Mosley, unfortunate for Lions fans, but this too shall pass. Brad Holmes has done a good job of loading that secondary with an infusion of new talent. So we'll have to see how it shakes out, but we'll be one man down.
We will be one man down. I did read something right before we came on here that was talking about that had a quote from Ennis Rakestraw, and he just said that sometimes got something about, I can't remember what the exact quote was, but like, God's got this plan and has planned for me, but that where one guy steps out, an opportunity for another person steps in, and Rakestraw is one of the people that could go and compete for that position that Emmanuel Mosley was in the head for, because he is a veteran. And I think that's probably what gave E-Man the leg up going into that situation. And I think that Rakestraw, that's an interesting take right there. There are some free agents that are also available out there, and the Lions have a bunch of cap money. And to some of that, Broski's hitting some of these people up here in the comments, and I understand like that. This is a Lions show, Broski. First of all, when you come in here and you're challenging all the Lions fans want to come in here and hear Lions fan stuff, right? And when you challenge each one of them trying to be optimistic about the injury, it just comes off across as trolling to me. I mean, that to me, it makes me feel a certain way, because I can go, I don't want to go down your injury list. I don't even want to bring that up on a Lions show, because I don't think that it's necessary in here. So we're going to talk about ways that we can help fix this today to try to move on from the injury. And I mean, this isn't a trash talking show, even though there is a little bit of a trash talking on it. We don't want that to be the focus of the show, which is just, yeah, ha, 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 you guys suck now. And yeah, I told you so. And that's fine. We had a couple of injuries in the first little bit, but yeah, that wasn't the thing that I wanted to see on here right off the get-go. And I know that you're trying to keep me in check, Mike, from really going off right here. And you don't want to really have me going off on here, because if you want to turn this into a trash talking show, Mike ran everybody out of here last year. If you guys want to go trash talking, and you don't want none of that. Oh, Fred says his priors are first ACL, second other ACL, both lower body. The torn neck is obviously upper body. It's really unfortunate that it ended up with the bug. Right? Is that what it says? The bug?
Yep.
The bug. Yeah.
The injury bug.
The injury bug. And to point out that he's injury prone when he does injure, I brought this comment up for that reason. Like he didn't have an injury bug in the pectoral area. He didn't injure his lower body again into the injury prone spot. This is a completely brand new injury, and it's very unfortunate for E-Man. This dude has came back from 2 ACL injuries and was ready to go, and injured a completely different part of a body. It's like a guy that came back and learned how to walk all over again, and he walks outside and gets hit by a car. and you're like, oh shoot, like it had nothing to do. His lower leg injury had nothing to do with his higher leg injury, which points to the trash talking that we got here. Good morning, villains, from Elise Memes, the queen of memes. Just timing and tone. Broski says, Mike, this is a game for men. If you need a safe space for comments in a YouTube chat, then you should have thicker skin. He's calling you out, Mike.
No, he's talking to Mike Fisher. You're not reading the comments in context. He's talking to another person in the chat.
Oh, okay.
But I love your point.
So what you're saying is Broski's attacking people in our chat.
No, I don't think Broski's attacking anyone. I mean, perception is everything. So I don't perceive it as attacking. I think he's just trying to have an in-depth conversation, like he says there in his last comment. I don't take it that way. He hasn't come out and said, ha, 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 ha. I mean, I don't see that at all. I see Broski he's bringing up fair points. He's a Bear fan, and yesterday was in here, and we were hyping up our secondary, and he cautioned us yesterday and said, look, you drafted some injured players like DJ Reader and stuff. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. And I think that message is well served this morning after Emmanuel Moseley gets a torn pec. So, no, I don't see it the same way as you, Russ, but hey, that's fine.
Well, if he wasn't responding to every single person's comment in here that tries to say, hey, man, I think I can be optimistic about this. And he's literally responding to every single person in here. I mean, if you don't want to call a spade, that's fine. That's fine. You know what? So. All right. Well, I guess the show's over. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. And, yeah, I got everybody all uncomfortable right here. And Brad Holmes is going to take care of it, right? We are talking about injuries today, broski. That's what we had planned on coming in here, talking about injuries. We're talking about injuries today. We're talking about how we can handle this. I think Stephon Gilmore would be an interesting person to bring in here. I think he has experience. I think that he could, be a depth piece on here like Emmanuel Moseley was going to be. We do have some guys that are on the roster that were on the bubble that may be coming up on the bubble, like Khalil Dorsey and Stephen Gilmore, that might be able to pop up a couple depth spots right there. You still got Terrion Arnold. You still got Rakestraw. You still got Carlton Davis. You still got Amik Robertson. You got Ife Melifonwu, who is going to be taking some reps at slot corner because he's that big body guy in the middle. And they had played him a lot at safety, but he had 6 sacks last year from the safety position, Ife Melifonwu. So they may put him up that slot corner may actually be suitable for him. That's what Dan Campbell had said. That would be a person that they could go in there. He might actually compete for that job. So, yeah, E-Man, it's very unfortunate that E-Man's out. And it's like the thing that sucks for a Lions fan in that is we didn't expect anything out of Moseley. To Broski's point, nobody expected anything out of Moseley until the first day of training camp where they're like, he's there? Moseley's here? Oh, he's repping with the ones? What? Emmanuel? And then we got happy for about a week, and he got injured again. So we were surprised about Moseley. We weren't touting injured players. Actually, Mike and I were talking about, man, it would be nice if we could get Emmanuel Moseley back by week 6, and if he could do anything. If he could play depth, he could play anything.
Well, a torn pec traditionally, historically, is a season-ending injury. It was for TJ Watt. For Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, it happened in the 2nd game of the season, and he didn't make it back until the 18th game of the season. But we did hear immediately after that injury that it was a nice, clean tear, that it was torn right off the bone, and it would heal nicely. And it was like the best kind of pec tear you could have. And sure enough, he made it back for week 18. If Emmanuel Mosley, we don't know the severity of the injury, how clean is the tear. But historically, this has been a season-ending injury. I think that for all intents and purposes at this point, we have to just write him off for the season. And to your point, Khalil Dorsey, Stephen Gilmore, Kendall Vildor, these guys, one of those three was looking to get bumped off the team. If they don't bring in a free agent, one of those guys now, their chances of making the team are a lot better. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Lions do. Stephon Gilmore's still out there. There's still a lot of good CBs out there. Like you said, Russ, we have lots of cap room. This could be a fix, but let's wait and see what happens. Again, this is why these free agents haven't signed yet. They know that these injuries happen in preseason, and this is jacking up their price. So there's still a full preseason to play, a couple more joint practices. We may not have seen the end of the injuries for the Detroit Lions, just like every team in the NFL.
I know Broski's calling me out here celebrating. It's called football's part of the game. I'm following up with a specific conversation. Yeah, but you came in first. Like you didn't come in first yesterday, Broski. You weren't in there first yesterday. You could. I mean, I couldn't believe that the first comment was that I hadn't even started the show yet. You already had a comment in there going after J Mommy. I'm sorry. If that's not what you're trying to do, that's not what you're trying to do. I'm going to try to have this conversation with you. And it is a backhanded form of trash talking because you are on a Lions show as a Bear fan. Remember that. You got to remember that when you're coming at me. But Fred said that he doesn't think that you're attacking. So I'm going to be, I'm gonna lay back off you a little bit on this. You had a comment in here about Zeitler being injury prone and Brad Holmes going after injury prone guys. And Zeitler is not an injury prone guy. Zeitler has been an Iron Man. I think that the dude's only missed like 2 games in his entire career. So it's not that you're celebrating, but the Lions believe in, and this is what I'll say to them picking injury prone players. They look for discounts of guys outside of the organization. That's what Brad Holmes' MO has been since the beginning, is when you're going to get a guy, there's usually something that makes his price drop, right? Like DJ Reader, he's coming off of a quad injury. He might not even be available for the first week, but the last time that he had a quad injury, he came back from it and played on a team that went to the Super Bowl. So these outside free agent moves don't work every time. I mean, I don't know. I'd be happy with a 50% chance on these guys working out, because what the Lions want to do is draft and develop players. So when some of these free agent guys go out, they can put in these guys that they've been developing. They want Ennis Rakestraw and Brian Branch and Terrion Arnold to be the future of this team. They want not Emmanuel Mosley. Emmanuel Mosley was exactly what you said he was, Broski. He's a Band-Aid. But the future of the team rests on the young players that are developed. So like the Kevin Zeitler deal, like a lot of people don't want to hear this, but you know who's probably going to replace him? Is Colby Sorsdahl, the guy that they drafted and that they're developing going to that spot. That's what they want to happen in that. And as far as the DJ Reader thing goes, he's just got to rehab through it. They knew what they were getting into when it goes with that. So Sarah says, everyone got that. Mama, I can change that attitude. What's that? Everyone got that.
Everyone got that. Mama, I can change him. Attitude.
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess you say you talk on 7 other channels as well. It just hit me wrong this morning. It definitely hit me wrong this morning that the first thing was the I told you so on injuries. And that's fine. That's fine. You win that one. There you go. You got us.
Do we have a list of free agent DBs handy, Russ?
We do.
I mean, who are some options out there? You know, I would think that as far as DBs go, the Minnesota Vikings would be first in line in the pecking order with the biggest paycheck standing there in their hand because their secondary is decimated right now. So Brad Holmes is going to make a move in free agency. He might want to beat the crowd and maybe get something done.
I have this free agent list here, but I don't know if it's accurate. Like, I feel like some of these guys have been signed. I know Stephen Gilmore, but it says Xavier Howard. Is he still available? I thought he signed with somebody. Okay, Xavier Howard is still available. Really? That's interesting. There must be something off with him. I mean, this guy was considered like the best cornerback in the league. Didn't he get like one of the max deals like a week ago? It seems like.
I think that's Javon Holland.
You think that's what?
Javon Holland from the Dolphins, not Xavier Howard.
It says Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, Stephen Gilmore, Patrick Peterson, J.C. Jackson, Eli Apple. Best remaining free agents. Yeah.
Oh, Sarah says Xavier Howard sent nude pictures to a kid. Ooh.
Oh.
Maybe that's why nobody wants him.
Well, there you go. We'll scratch that one off the list. You don't like that. Oh, gosh.
How about that comment from Detroit Fan Man?
Okay, so now with potential season ending to Badgley, Kaminsky, and now Mosley, it's not a great look for the Lions' last names that end in Y. So look out, Monty, Khalil, and Scott Bailey. Okay, that's an interesting way to peg the injuries and predict the injuries. Big Dan Davis says, give me Adoree Jackson, please. He's a good depth signing, and he's definitely a fit. What do you think about Adoree Jackson?
It's a great call out.
Broski's talking about the Minnesota and his criminal charges. Is that what's going on with the Minnesota Vikings? Anything coming out of the camp about Addison's availability? You know anything about that?
Yeah, I guess that Jordan Addison's defense is going to be he was trying to get his dog to the vet. He was rushing to get his dog to the vet. I'm kidding. That was his excuse the first time he got caught speeding at 100 miles an hour. Said he was trying to get his dog to the vet. Now this time he gets caught speeding, shit-faced drunk from what I hear, like way over the legal limit. He was hammered driving. So I think it's not that big a deal. No one was injured. He'll be playing. Jordan Addison will be on the field for week 1. You watch.
So Howard got some chick pregnant and she wouldn't get an abortion. So he sent naked pictures of the mom to the kid. That's crazy. That can't be true. Really? Man, if that's true.
Sarah's like TMZ up in here.
I tell you what, man, I got to apologize to Broski for that, man. It's like, man, that's not even like, really? People do that? Man, Man. See, I'm starting to like Broski even more now. Lions could go after Panthers cornerback J.C. Horn in a trade since it's in his fourth season, a rookie contract. Horn has missed more games that he's played, so I can see him being attractive to Brad Holmes. What? ACL? Bring him in. We want him. Give him a multi-year deal. We do make fun of that a little bit. It's like you got to have an injury thing. He just doesn't like to go out. Like, I know that a lot of Lions fans really wanted to get Danielle Hunter. I was one of them. I mean, Danielle Hunter's a beast, and then you wouldn't have to worry about any of that pass rushing stuff. You just have your two guys, and that's awesome. But that's just not Brad Holmes' MO. He doesn't want to go outside the organization to bring in people. Like, I don't know if Broski, if you remember the Trey Flowers experiment from the Martin Mayhew. Was that Trey Flowers or was that Bob Quinn's first deal? Was that Bob Quinn's first deal? Trey Flowers, like bringing in these big beasts from the outside. You have no idea how good they're going to be, right? I mean, really, you guys traded for Montez Sweat. You didn't really know how good he was going to be here until he actually got into your system. I mean, if he would have flushed out, then it would have been. Everyone would be like, wow, you wasted that, and Montez Sweat ain't no good. Well, sometimes people just go to different places and it just doesn't work, right? So until you see them play in that new system, with those new people, new players, new coaches, new trainings and everything, then you don't know. So that's why Brad Holmes, when he goes from outside, he tends to give shorter term deals to guys that have ability that may have had some kind of question in the background. And to tell you the truth, that type of stuff has worked out more than it hasn't worked out. I mean, the David Montgomery signing seemed to work out pretty good, and he was injury prone from Chicago, right? So there's been more. I think that Brad Holmes has done a better job than he hasn't done a good job in the free agency. The free agency is more of a spinny wheel thing, but he really does want to build the core. And as you can see how they're paying, we're paying our own guys. When you pay your own guys, you want to draft and develop your own guys. To me, that's a good sign that you're not depending on these guys outside of the organization to come in and save your whole franchise. So that's just my thought on it. Lions were trying to acquire Sweat in a trade last year. Yeah, but they were Brett, you guys were on a different level with what you were willing to pay for Sweat. And when you look back on it now, it wasn't an overpay because of what you got out of him, but you needed Sweat to be what he was. I mean, that high level, it had to be the ceiling of that trade in order for it to work for you guys. The Lions just weren't willing to give a second round pick for him. We tried to go after him, but Brad probably tried to offer him a 5. Oh, okay, no big deal. But you guys paid a 2, but you guys had the picks. So I have never really trashed anything about this Montez Sweat pick because you guys had the money. They
had north of $70 million. And a plethora of picks. We just got outbid on Sweat. That's all.
Yeah, but like when you're the Bears, it's like you have all that money. It was like they had to spend the money. It was like, dude, we got to get some players in here. So you go and you get DJ Moore. Wow, what a great move that was. Keenan Allen. That's kind of a that's an injury. What you're throwing back at me for DJ Reader, that's a move that you made for Keenan Allen. That dude's been injury prone his entire career, which is the reason they kept trying to draft wide receivers to replace Keenan Allen, and they never could because Keenan Allen was too damn good his entire career. They kept on trying to draft these guys to come in and take his place. He's like, nope, I'm 35, still good. And then Ryan Poles goes over and pulls the pants down, San Diego Chargers, or not San Diego, LA. and you get Keenan Allen for a 5th round pick. So I like that you guys were able to do that and improve your team like that. So you guys have the exact opposite mold that we do, which is you guys acquired all these guys from the outside, and it pretty much worked out for you for the most part so far. But Dan Davis says, want to know who was deemed injury prone when we signed, and he has been healthy, good in camp. Marcus Davenport. He's actually having a very good camp from what I've seen. I think that's a good point. I mean, I don't want to go and tout too much on Davenport because that's a guy who has been injured. Like, I don't think that the dude's ever played a full season in his career, but he's been very impactful in the short times that he has been there. So it doesn't surprise me that he's being impactful in the practices as a healthy guy, because it's never been a question of ability with Davenport. It's always just been a question of availability. So, Sarah, I love the TMZ's in the house right here. Just don't send nude photos to kids and you might still have a job. Oh, Corey Patterson says, no doubt. Hope he keeps it up. And Broski says, I'll admit Keenan Allen is a rental. If we get 6 games out of him this season, I'll be fine with that. I'm trying to put a good situation around Caleb when he's a rookie. And I'm on record to say, Broski, that is probably the best situation that any quarterback has ever went to as a number 1 draft pick. I mean, that's an anomaly that you get to draft a quarterback and the best wide receiver in the draft in the same draft. That's pretty impressive right there for Poles. And the question about the Chicago Bears, to me, isn't the players. I think Poles is doing a fantastic job at building the roster. My question has always been your coaching. Can Eberflus put these guys together and coach them up? That still remains to be seen. Talent, you guys got it all the talent in the world. I like your team looks great talent-wise. Mike Fisher says, I have a feeling that people going to know about Levi after the season starts. I mean, are we homers? I mean, we're not bringing this stuff up. I don't want to be out here talking too much about Levi. He's had 3 full years and has shown little to less than nothing. And he's having a good camp. But this is one thing I'll tell you, Mike, I'm just going to this is something that a lot of people probably telling you, we got to pump the brakes a little bit on Levi. Let's see Levi get in there. Let's see what he does in a preseason game. Let's see if he can go and dominate Thursday and keep up what he's been doing in practice. But, you know, pump the brakes, but you don't have to slam on the brakes. Let's put it that way. Is this former Chicago Cub Corey Patterson? We got famous people watching our show, Mike?
We do not.
No.
Except other than Elise memes, we do not.
We got Elise, we got Fred, and we got you.
Hey, I've been nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah, well, yeah, Mike's way more important than I am. Sarah says that did you see how hard the Patriots are trying to attain Ayuk?
Didn't I call that? Didn't I not call that a month ago?
Ayuk for May?
No, as a weapon for Drake May, not in a trade for him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm dumb.
Nope.
I'm dumb.
But when Brandon Ayuk was demanding a trade a month ago, I said, you know what makes sense? The New England Patriots make sense. There was a report yesterday that the Steelers were close to a deal with the Niners to get Ayuk, but we're not able to confirm that. Big Dan Davis in the back chat was, saying, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but boy, the meme possibilities if he were to go to the Steelers with him and Mike Tomlin looking like the courtship of Eddie's father. I mean, that'd be pretty awesome. But I definitely, the Patriots seem like the best fit for me. They got a ton of money. I think they're second in the league in cap room. They got a young quarterback, so get him a weapon like Brandon Ayuk would be a great move. So yeah, let's make that happen. Let's get him out of the NFC for sure. I don't care if he goes to Pittsburgh or New England. Let's get him out of the NFC.
I love that they're getting him out of the NFC. They're like, look, we'll send you to the AFC. Here's Fred. This one might make you laugh right here. Just don't send nude pictures to anyone. Just ask Mel Tucker.
And if you want to know if anybody famous is watching, Joseph Osteen says he's watching.
Joseph, welcome to the program. I wish I had my "you like that" button, but I've kind of given up on my drops this week while I'm in Arkansas. So I apologize. I'm not allowed to. I don't know why I can't get them working, but I got my laptop instead of my studio. So you get dumbed down versions of our show this week.
I guess I never noticed Kansas was in the word Arkansas.
Arkansas. Dan Campbell says that Goff won't play in the preseason. This hasn't been the first time someone from Detroit has said this, but we will get a healthy dose of Hooker this preseason. It just sounds funny right there. Hey, Big Dan Davis, are you looking for a healthy dose of Hooker this preseason? Oh man, I'm gonna lose my Faith Family football card if I keep on talking like that. I am Broski with the muskie. I am Broski with the muskie. Well, if we ever come to Chicago, we're gonna have to find Broski, and we're gonna have to buy him a beer. We're gonna have to buy him a broski or a brewski for Broski, just because we don't like each other's teams, but I like Broski. Sarah says where Chicago messed up, and keeping it real right here. Sarah should have gotten rid of Eberflus since they started over with a new QB. You got to have that.
A lot of validity to that statement when you consider that Eberflus was not Ryan Pohl's choice. And Eberflus took over the defense halfway through the year and turned it around and really proved he was worth his salt as a coach. I firmly believe that kept his head coaching job and bought him another year at least. So I think there's a lot of validity to that statement from Sarah. Starting over with a new QB, Shane Waldron, a new offensive coordinator. Why not start all over with your guys, Ryan Poles? But he's hanging on to Eberflus, who's known around the league as a damn good defensive coach.
Oh, yeah. I think that Ryan Poles is a very smart GM, and I think that this move to keep Eberflus, and it is, if something happens this year and it doesn't go well, he still has a get out of jail free card because he can always just bring in a new coach with these guys. And I think it has a lot in common with what Brad Holmes has done, because I really believe that this is the first year for the Lions. Like I believe that in the minds of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell is like, I need 3 years to rebuild this roster from top to, and you could admit it last year, Mike, that the roster wasn't completed because we still had that cornerback we needed. He hasn't had a chance to address it yet. There's only so much that you can do in 2 off seasons. And I thought he did a fantastic job at getting them to the NFC Championship a little bit earlier than they had planned. But I think that's what's happening with Poles too. I don't think that Poles thinks that this job is done yet with the Bears. I think you have a lot of really, really good pieces, but Poles believes that the next offseason that you guys have will be the one that puts you guys over the top. And this is house money. This is your house money year, Bears. Bears could go anywhere from 6 wins to 12 wins. Like that is the talent. Like that, if you're getting the most out of your talent, you could. I mean, this team could win 12 games if everything lands. If Caleb Williams is what Caleb Williams is touted to be, I mean, you got a high ceiling with this Bears team. But if Eberflus dumbs down that talent and doesn't do the job right, you could only win 6 games and it not work well, which would give Poles the opportunity to be like, we'll get you out of there. And if they win 12 games, well, shoot, maybe you might be extending Eberflus. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong. But either way, Poles can bet on red and black at the same time.
I agree with that. If they were to win 12 games, Eberflus would get an extension, I would think.
And if they won 6, they would fire him.
Detroit Fan Man says 12. Whoa, Russ. Maybe that's too much time on the porch. Calm down there, guy. No way the Bears are going to win 12 is what Fan Man thinks.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I don't think they're going to win 12 either. I'm just saying that there's a floor and there's a ceiling. And even Detroit Fan Man, I'll pose that question to you. Let's just say that the Bears go into the season, that offensive line comes together. They've spent some money on that offensive line, but let's just say that this offensive line plays above average, and Caleb Williams is who they say he is. That defense was already a top 5 rush defense in the league last year. So you're telling me with an off season and you drop Caleb Williams and he plays up to his potential, you're telling me this team couldn't win 12 games? I do my best not to be a homer on here, but 12 games, it could. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I'm saying that that's probably the ceiling of what could happen. And it wouldn't surprise me if Caleb Williams was really good with painted nails, and Bruschi's going to come on here and he's going to show everybody his painted nails, and he's going to be backed up by his favorite quarterback. Dennis Rodman painted his nails. He did all right. Oh, you don't like that one? Oh, shoot. Broski says when you bring in a new OC and DC in the same season, that's the last chance for your head coach. This is do or die for Flus this season. This is the season to prove himself. And you got nothing to lose, Broski. I mean, honestly, I know that you got some Homer fans that are out there that are predicting 15-2. I don't think that you're one of those guys, but I think that there are some smart Bear fans out there that are like, okay, this is house money this year. Let's just see what'll happen. I mean, you're in a win-win situation right here, really long term.
Right. So the Chicago Bears over/under, I believe, is 8 games by Las Vegas. So if he falls under that number and they fire Matt Eberflus, could they bring in Ben Johnson as the new coach in Chicago? Would that make Lions fans' heads blow off if that happened?
Yeah, it would. That would be awful. I wouldn't surprise me if Brad Holmes put that in his contract and be like, okay, we got to get you with this little extension, but here's this little spot that says that you're not going to be head coaching anybody in our division. I don't know if they can do that, but I definitely wouldn't want to see that. I would hate to see that. That would devastate me. You want to see me get shaken on here, broski? Hire Ben Johnson as your head coach. I will be shaking. I will be shaking in my boots. I will go, whoa, Caleb Williams with those playmakers and Ben Johnson? Oh, no. Yeah. You want to scare me? Hire Ben Johnson as your head coach. 9 to 10 wins for the Bears sounds about right. I think that the Bears are getting more respect. Thank you, Dale. Yes. Oh, A-Dub. It's been a while, A-Dub. Like it. I said before that Caleb Williams has to be better than Justin Fields for the Bears to be justified in moving on from Fields. That's a great point. Justin Fields is definitely a better runner than Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams definitely has a better arm. There's, I don't want to admit that you got better there, but last year when I got crucified on here for telling Bear fans that they should trade Justin Fields so they can pick Caleb Williams, it's really funny that people are like, yeah, you're just a hater because we got Caleb Williams now. I'm like, no, I actually predicted this last year and you guys crucified me. And that was when we were doing that was when we were actually doing the trash talking. But that wasn't a very popular opinion by me, but you're welcome. Yeah, but if Flus is gone, a new regime comes in and they will want their own guys on the cycle repeats the instability. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because of the way they set it up and just what Broski had said right there. You bring in your OCs and your DC at the same time. That really does. This is do or die for Eberflus because they could keep the coordinators and bring in Poles as a coach.
No. I agree with Sarah on this one. If the head coach wants to have his own coordinators, so if Flus is gone, those guys would be gone too. And that cycle of instability continues, like she's saying there. I think that's a great call out. I mean, look at how many OCs they've had just in the last 5 years. Every time they get a new quarterback, they get a new OC, then they trash it. And their new quarterback has to learn a new system the next year. And you never get continuity. And that's something that the Lions have going in spades this year with all these coaches coming back with Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, et cetera. So I agree with that take, Sarah.
I like that take. Instability. It could be that. It could be that. I'm trying to hit the other side of that coin and try to get in the Ryan Poles' head. Think of this, and I'm thinking that this is his third year, right? This was his third draft.
This
correct?
will be his third year.
This will be his third year. So I think it is. It does it when you're building something from the studs, and you're talent out, talent in. You're trying to get it all done. It's hard to do in that short period of time, and yeah, maybe they should have gotten rid of Eberflus, but there is some stability in having the same coaching staff. Rookie QB with the new scheme, it's going to take time to gel. And that's understandable too. And when I say floor and ceiling, I mean, I know that y'all heard me say 12 wins, but I also said 6 wins. Like, that's how volatile I think this Bears team is. It's got a range on it because there is so much talent. How do you look at Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen at 1, 2, 3 with Cole Kmet? I mean, they got some skill players, guys. Like, it might not take a stellar quarterback play to light those guys up. When you look at what Nick Mullins did last year with Justin Jefferson, that's Nick frickin' Mullins. Come on, Sarah. I mean, Nick Mullins was lighting up teams last year with Justin Jefferson. So if Caleb Williams is better than Nick Mullins, I mean, you got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Dunze. That's there's potential in that. That might be a trick bag. And I like using that term, trick bag. Lions have trick bags all over the place on offense. It's going to be hard for teams to stop the Lions because they got such a good offensive line and they got a bunch of skill players that can put defenses into a trick bag. I mean, the Bears even found that out last year. They got real comfortable and with a lead last year, and then all of a sudden our offense, Ben Johnson, found the trick bag, and then you couldn't stop him. You couldn't stop him at the end of that game. So it's like teams that can do that, I think that the skill positions for the Chicago Bears can do that to people if Caleb Williams is even above average. Broski said Ben Johnson would love to coach the Bears with Caleb and Mora, Dunze, and Komet in the back, solid defense. Yeah, Broski, I'm on here. I'm on record now. You get Ben Johnson, you're going to see me scared. Because he's also watched the way that Dan Campbell has built this team here, just from a culture standpoint and how to bring in people to lead. Ben Johnson is a very, very good leader. So if they get Ben Johnson, everything that Sarah said about the coordinators and not having continuity, that would go out the window, because Ben Johnson, I believe, will take the right type of scenario for himself and his family. And I think that he's going to crush it no matter where he goes. He's going to be a successful head coach in the NFL when he's ready to take that. Sarah says 12 is unrealistic. Is that too much? Is that too much for like the absolute, like if everything completely goes right for the Bears, like everything, Mike, like you hit on your quarterback, all of these skill players, they don't get the injuries. Their offensive line plays above average. The defense picks up where it did last year and doesn't let off. Is 12 really unrealistic?
I don't think so. Not with all those weapons. And if Caleb Williams, he's got the Mahomes-like skill set. If he comes out and is 80% of what Patrick Mahomes is, 12 wins is not unrealistic.
So let's go to the other side of the spectrum. If Caleb Williams falls on his face, and gets ran down by defensive ends and gets overwhelmed by the speed of NFL defenses, the offensive line continues with its injury problems. Keenan Allen, regresses and all that stuff. Is 6? Is that not low enough? Could they be worse than that if it doesn't go well?
It's a rookie quarterback. He totally could be worse than that. Peyton Manning won 6 games his first year. I mean, the best quarterbacks in history have terrible rookie years. So that's probably more likely to happen than 12 wins. But if the stars align and all the talent lines up, 12 is not unrealistic. This team is loaded. I've been saying it for months.
But here's where the real is right here with Broski's comment. I think this is where most of us are with these guys. I would say 7 to 10 is where most people are with the Bears this season. 7 to 9, somewhere in there. I think this is where most people's expectations, because some will work, some won't work. Right. Not every single move that you made is going to pan out, but some of them will. And that's the question that we had yesterday, right? Is like, well, your secondary was awful, so how do you just expect all your guys to work out? Well, it's like, because there was more than one chip that got thrown into that pot. If it was just one secondary guy and we were just like, yeah, this guy, and he's going to save everything, I could understand where you're coming from. But the chances of all 4 of those secondary guys not helping our team are really, really low, right? So somebody's going to work out, somebody's not going to work out. We've already found out one that isn't going to work out. Emmanuel Mosley's not working out this year. So now we're back to what we originally thought we had, which was 4. So depending on what things work out, I do believe the Bears, that is the range right there. I'm going to stick with that range from the 6 to 12, depending on, there's lots of hype around this team. Lots of hype around that Bears team. But since Sarah's in here, let's get in here and.
Can I read this one?
Yes.
You were talking about Dennis Rodman painted his nails, and that worked out all right. She says, but Dennis Rodman is eccentric. I mean, he's been face-to-face with Kim Jong-un, and he made it out of North Korea alive. Right. He's the exception to the rule. He had sex with Madonna and survived. So you can't compare Dennis Rodman to mere mortals.
That's true.
And I got a dip, Russ. Thanks for having me on. Great conversations this morning. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Mike. Mike keeps me in check. That's why Mike and I are like, the opposite. So he keeps me in check, keeps me from getting too emotional over there. And that's all good. But thank you, Mike. Mike, you can catch Mike every Monday night on the main event football show. We're all done with our top 11 lists, so we're just going to get into regular preseason talk on Monday nights as well with Mike. So join us every Monday night at 7 o'clock with Mike hosting for the main event football show. Yeah. A-Dub in the house. Him and Sarah, pretty good friends right there. If you don't allow a coach to hire his own guys, you're not setting your head coach up for success. That's true. That is very true, which is one of the reasons, Sarah, why I don't think that Ben Johnson would go coach in Chicago is he made it very, very plain because he had head coaching offers this offseason, but he said that it needed to be the right situation. I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Johnson stayed as the offensive coordinator for the Lions for the next 2-3 years, just because he likes the situation. He likes it in Michigan, and he likes the continuity of it. Just like you said, you know, you want to have your own coordinators, you want to have your own people, and Dan Campbell was able to do that. That's one thing that we have over any team in the NFC North this year is we have the same staff. We have the same staff. The only you can go down, it's position coaches that we changed, but there was nothing else that was changed. We kept all of our coordinators and all that good stuff. So, so we go from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock on the Huddle Sports Network, and we're probably going to gain some of those people from the Sports Network to come over here. Unfortunately, we can't dip into the Huddle's time after 11 o'clock, but welcome to the people from the Huddle Sports Network that just hopped over, because we don't have a time limit on JC Sports or the Villain Squad YouTube page or Detroit Lions News Podcast or the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page. So welcome on over here, because I don't mind going over a little bit. Sarah says that Nick Mullen's been in the system since KOC came to the Vikings. Okay. Yeah. Nick Mullen. I mean, I get that, but he's not a starting level quarterback in a league. And actually that was a backhanded compliment to your skill players. Is your skill players could probably have a below average quarterback come in and put up numbers, because Justin Jefferson's a dog and TJ Hawkinson is a dog and Addison is a dog, and you got good skill players over there. You got a great offensive line. So, you know, even if you have above average quarterback play, I think that your offense could be pretty good. Notre Dame overwhelmed Caleb Williams. Yeah. I'm interested. He's the most polarizing pick, obviously, being the number one pick. You're going to be scrutinized. You know what I'm saying? Rodman turned down Madonna's offer to get married. There you go. That's awesome. Look at Dennis Rodman getting some love in here. Audio is better now. What did Dan say about the Mosley injury? I don't know. I haven't got I was making the content for this morning, and I didn't get a chance to listen to the Dan Campbell press conference yet. But I do know that the younger guys are going to get a chance now, you know, where they did have the luxury of having Mosley be in there and then take a guy like Ennis Rakestraw to where he could just, you know, develop behind some of these veteran players. They're not going to be able to do that now. So now you're going to have to put, you know, Rakestraw is going to have to see action quicker. Now, from his standpoint, that's a blessing, right? Because, you know, he's going to get a shot earlier. You know, Ennis Rakestraw has a chance because he's had an outstanding camp, but we have a lot of guys that have experience like Mosley. So there were people that were in his way. It's not the way that you want to move up the depth chart, but it's going to give these younger guys an opportunity. If you want to look at the other side of that coin. So, and if there was any position, I can't even believe I'd say this, but if there was any position that the Lions could suffer an injury from, it was the cornerback position, because they did overspend at that position when it came to draft and trades, and they completely overhauled the room. So, man, it really sucks for Mosley. Mosley coming back from 2 injuries, that was amazing. And then to have a freak accident from a completely different injury, it just sucks for him. It really, really sucks for him. I feel bad for him. I think our D Co-Road is on short lease. What is that? Defensive coordinator, or is that we're talking about Aaron Glenn right here? If the defense is bad as it was last year, he should be gone. I agree with that. But I also agree with them keeping him through it, because we haven't been able to put the resources that we've put into the offense. The offense has definitely got the Lions' share, unintended, of the resources. Russell, I would love to hear your Christopher Walken voice. So, all right, we'll have some fun with we're gonna have some fun here with Broski right here. I don't mean this in disrespect, Broski, but if Christopher Walken was here, he'd say, Broski, you're talking to my guy. He's all wrong. It's all wrong the way he's talking about my team. You do it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron. I don't mean to, I shouldn't have said stab. I mean, never mind. Hopefully they don't kick me off Facebook for saying stab. Oh, Broski says Mahomes was 5-7 his last season at Texas Tech. So what are we really talking about? Those are straight facts right there. But I think that what you're really trying to say is we can't look at college production at all to really define how good quarterbacks are going to be. I mean, Josh Allen, he played for, I don't even know, he played for like Buffalo or something like that. I mean, didn't go up against the competition. You never know about these guys. Which works both ways, Broski. I know that Mahomes was 5-7 in his last year at Texas, but a hell of a lot more of these quarterbacks don't work out than do. I mean, if we can look at C.J. Stroud from last year as the anomaly, but it seems like most people that draft quarterbacks want that, and they're going to have that no matter what. They think that they're just going to get the best version of a quarterback. But the fact of the matter is, what you have: Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, who's all these quarterbacks that got drafted in the first round? J.J. McCarthy, Penix. Out of all these guys, I mean, more than half of them, I mean, you have to almost look at it like 2 of them are going to fail. Come on, I mean, that's just what the numbers say. You get about you don't bat very well when it comes to drafting quarterbacks. That's just the league, right? So that's the question I'll ask. Out of all the quarterbacks that were drafted, 2 of them are going to be busts. Which are going to be the bust quarterbacks? 2 of the quarterbacks for sure are going to bust. The chances are that 2 of those first round quarterbacks are going to bust. Which ones are they? That's something to be said. I don't know if it's going to be Caleb Williams, but I just do know that the numbers tell you that half of those quarterbacks are going to bust out. It's because the NFL's that hard. Dwayne says he tore his pec out indefinitely. Yeah, Mosley is out for probably the entire season. I guess there's a backhanded chance that he could come back, but at this point, like Broski was saying, that he's out indefinitely, and this is the 3rd year in a row he's done. He's done with an injury for the entire season. So it's really hard to trust. Now, Zeitler, the Zeitler injury is a little more surprising because, he battled injuries last year, kind of like Frank Ragnow did, but he didn't miss games. Zeitler doesn't normally miss games. He's pretty tough like that. So, like, if we were going on the injury thing, Zeitler was one of the people that we loved because he never got injured, right? But look, he got injured. That just shows you how unpredictable an injury can be or not be. Let's see. Sarah says, if San Fran don't win this year, I think their window is closed. I think their window might be closed anyway. I mean, they lost some people. They're already in the losing mode of people, but for sure they're going to have to decide who they want to pay next year. So they're in a window where it's like it is really Super Bowl or bust for San Fran, where I believe that teams like Green Bay and the Lions have a few years of the window, and then the Bears, if this works out for one more year here and they actually pull it out, I think it's going to be a three dog race for a few years now of some of the top teams in the NFL. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Fred. Josh Allen went to Wyoming. I knew it was one of those small schools, and that's one of those things you can't really look at what they did as the only thing that you're using to measure whether they're going to be there or not. So, horrible news out of the Lions training camp. Losing guys, that sucks. I feel for their families. I feel for, guys that work really, really, really hard. The Mosley one really, it hurts because it's like a three different accident injury, right? You come back from rehab and both of your ACLs and the ACLs are fine, the ACLs are strong, then you come out and get hit by a car. Freak accident in a complete different spot. But maybe Broski's right. Maybe injury is just injury. Maybe it's just your body. Your entire body is just fragile. And he'll never be able to play football. But I would love to see Emmanuel Mosley be able to make it back and at least play one good season just because of coming back, and working hard and, and believing in yourself when there's a lot of reasons to give up. Because you got to have faith. Faith, family, and football. Got kind of heated on here today. Broski, I'm sorry I got a little bit emotional on you. I'm emotional about my team. I don't want to see any of my guys get hurt. I especially wouldn't want anybody to make fun of them. And I know that you weren't really making fun of them. You're just pointing it out. And that's hard sometimes. Especially when you're a passionate Lions fan. And you're passionate about your team. Sarah's passionate about the Vikings. A-Dub is passionate about the Green Bay Packers. And even though we don't like your team, and you don't like my team, I like you guys. I wish the best for you guys. I wish blessings in your life. I wish for good things to happen to you. And I keep saying wish. I pray for good things to happen to you because it's faith, family, and football in that order on this show. I don't know what it is for you, but if you're on that path with me, I appreciate that because it's faith, family, and football in that order. We use football on this show. I love spending time with my family. I love going to games with my son, my 20-year-old, and creating memories. And just don't turn into a butthole if your team is bad. Lion fans know what it's like. We know what it's like to be, lose every game in a season, not play well at all through the season. And if you are a Lion fan, then it's okay to root for your team. You can beat your chest a little bit because it could all be gone. You know, there's no guarantees that the Lions are going to even make the playoffs. And, you know, based off of what we did last year, that's how this game works. When your team does well, you get to be happy in the offseason. You get to be optimistic in the offseason. Don't let anybody take your optimism away. Faith, family, then football. In that order. Use football, spend time with your family. Don't let football use you, and may the Lord bless you, and may the Lord keep you, and may the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. And that'll be tomorrow morning. Oh, that'll be at 10 a.m. Peace out.
Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.